Welcome back to Podcast Redeemed. We will continue on with the story of Ruth. It's a good story. I like it.
Chapter 2.
Hey, Michael, is it a love story?
Love story.
Is that the...
There's a heart in the picture. Boaz.
We have a new character entering in the story. So, of course, we had Naomi. We have Ruth. They headed back to Israel, Bethlehem.
Bethlehem.
Enters a new character. His name is Boaz.
Yep.
It's quite the name.
I like the name.
Mm-hmm. Boaz. Yeah. I like the way it's spelled, too. It's just,
Very simple.
It's different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's how it's spelled phonetically.
Yeah.
You know, I've always appreciated that about my name, is it's not very common.
Yeah.
And so you write it, and people are like, oh, that's a cool name.
But then they can't say your name right.
Yeah. No, they call me Asa. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, excuse me, it's Asa. But
Not my name.
Yeah.
Not how I say it.
And so anyway, so it is nice to have the name that's so it's cool name.
Yeah.
Boaz. I've actually thought about name one of my boys that name.
Cool.
But then my wife was not on board with it.
She wasn't on board with that?
No. So we got a Josiah and a Zachariah.
Name your next dog Boaz.
Oh, that'd be
that's
cool.
a good idea.
Yeah.
It's literally the only kind I have.
But I am not going to have another dog. I'm just telling you that right now.
You're getting another dog.
You're getting another dog.
100%.
No, I am not.
Well, bet.
Yeah, we had one that passed away. I'm down to one dog, and I freaking love just having one dog. I'm going to love it even better when I don't have any dogs. You know
You'll
what
get
I'm
another
saying?
dog.
He'll have another dog.
Both you people.
So will Michael when his dog dies.
Absolutely, he will.
Yeah.
He's so good another dog.
Yeah.
I just know it.
We've already been through this. I will get another dog, but I get to pick this one.
You picked the last one.
I thought you picked Lotus.
No.
Yeah.
That was a prison dog.
Okay,
You
Michael
don't pick prison dogs.
likes to think that this wasn't his idea at all, but he
No, it was
was
totally
all on
his
board
idea.
with
I
getting a
remember,
dog.
yeah.
They went and picked out Lotus.
Yeah. It's what you do right after you get married is you go buy a dog.
That's
Why?
what-
I don't know. That's what we did too.
I was very clear. Did not want a dog till we got out.
Your Aunt Lisa always tells people don't get a dog when you get married.
But we did. That's what we did. That sucker lived for 15 years.
Yeah. You got a good dog though.
We did.
Yeah.
Mine will live for
You
40.
did not.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the world's oldest dog.
Kojo was definitely a good dog.
Yeah.
All right, but let's get back to what we're talking about here, okay? So we have a new character, Boaz, enters in our picture. So what we have here, remember all the bad stuff that happened to Naomi, okay?
Her husband died. Her
Yep.
2 sons died.
Right, and you can kind of get the idea, if you're kind of reading it, that she thinks maybe God has forgotten her a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're going to find out here that is not true, that God actually does take care of his own. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, what she lost was her husband and her son, so there was nobody to actually provide for her.
Yep.
So Ruth kind of takes on that mantle, per se.
Yeah.
Not like in the way that her husband or her sons could do it.
Yeah.
But
Right.
Naomi was old, and so it was Ruth and her youthfulness that was what was able to go out and get some food for him. That's basically what's happening. But the thing is she wound up picking grain. Well, I guess it was the time of the harvest, correct?
Correct.
And so, if I understand how the process worked, they would follow along behind the harvesters, and whatever the harvesters dropped, which wasn't a lot, but they would drop some as they're collecting the stuff up,
Yeah.
the scavengers could then take that stuff.
Let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor.
And lo and behold, she winds up in Boaz's field. Okay?
Crazy. How does that happen?
Total God thing.
Just a coinky dink.
Yeah. Okay. And so, but not only does she start gleaning in Boaz's field, but Boaz takes note of her. Mm-hmm. Now, I did find it interesting that, most people would say it was because of a romantic interest that he took notice of Ruth. But the commentary in the Quest Bible says that may not have been exactly true, because a man of his stature at that time wouldn't really have associated himself with what they described as scavengers.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So here we go again. It's God working in the background. Okay, He's setting things up here. All right. So she finds favor in his eyes, Boaz's eyes. He tells his harvesters to actually drop extra for her. So he's taking care of her.
Yes, he is.
Okay, taking care of her. And he also made sure that she was watched over, that nobody messed with her.
Uh-huh.
Because I would imagine that she wasn't like hanging out being that she was with the scavengers or the gleaners. she probably wasn't in the best of company. These
Yeah.
were all people that were probably on hard
Some
times.
shady people,
Correct.
potentially.
Okay. And he also tells her, don't go to another field.
Yep.
Stay here. Okay. Once again, he's watching out for her, taking care of her. And so she does, and she was able to gather quite a bit of wheat. And then she goes home and shows Naomi what she's
Look
done.
at all I got.
Yeah. And Naomi's like, "Where were you at?"
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Who did
That's
you
a
rob?
lot. But back up there too, and part of why he's doing this too is that Boaz replied, "I have been told all that you have done for your mother-in-law." Okay, so he took pity on her because he had heard of what she did, leaving
Heard the story.
Yep, leaving her home country, coming to basically take care of her. Okay.
Yep.
And so then she continues to glean in his field. Then she takes the stuff home to Naomi. Naomi's like, "Where have you been?" Because all of a sudden she realizes that God's got something going on here. And she tells him, or she tells her, that she was in Boaz's field. And that also makes Naomi excited because there's some kind of connection there. I don't know how the kinsman redeemer type thing works. Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
But he was somehow in that line
Yeah.
for Naomi and Ruth. Okay?
Correct.
And I'd have to do some more research to completely understand how all that worked. But once again, Naomi was just able to pick out that God was working in the background here. Okay? And so Ruth continued to just glean in that field, and the Lord continued to provide for Naomi and Ruth. And it was kind of interesting because like the commentary said, there was kind of a change, in Naomi.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because in the first one, she said, "Call me Mara, because I am so bitter."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
here, you can kind of see this awakening once again, that she realizes that God has not forgotten her, and that God is going to take care of her. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And
She's seeing it firsthand.
Yeah, and there's a lesson there for us. God doesn't just forget about us.
No.
Just because something bad happens one time doesn't mean that that's it. God's forgotten us. He's never going to do anything for us.
I'm on my own.
Yeah. No, it's not true. Okay? God's going to be with you every step of the way, especially if you're one of His.
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's a great, interesting story. It's neat to see how an attitude can change.
Yeah.
You know, if you're watching, you're paying attention. You know what I'm saying? And God's always there. He's always there to help you make those. You know, I think we're fixing to be. There's something going on in the garage over here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There goes the garage door.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Anyway, just make sure that you give God the glory. You know what I'm saying? And that He is going to take care of you always. Just because you're
Always.
having a hard time one time doesn't mean that He's going to forget about you and that you're going to be out in the cold. All right? God's got a plan for you. And it's interesting to see the plan work through this whole situation. Because in the end, if I understand the lineage of Jesus, He's going to come from this line.
Yep.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool if you ask
Really
me.
cool little footnote.
Yeah. Yeah, because of all this and the way God set it up, it's going to be the line of Jesus.
No accidents.
No accidents. All right. We'll see you next time, guys.